Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the S&P 500 for Monday, October 25th, 2021. Well, all in due time is the saying for when you will get your answers. All in due time. The markets did let us know today that what happened on Thursday and Friday of last week, mirage, and that the bullishness continues, and all of that news is now history. And we initially did attempt to sink and go lower. That didn't get very far. Now you'll notice a couple of changes here. First thing I did is I'm now showing the chart in a line chart, and I'll explain why. When we go over to the candle, candles include tails. And actually, we just need to see what's going on up here. So it includes all of the tails. And you can see in many different places, there are reasons to believe a count would be different, or the low was actually not where we think it is, but the low was actually a little bit further away because of the tail. When you use a line charts go on a closed basis. So they don't include the tails. And case in point, let's go over to the line chart. And you can see that there's quite a big difference, and that wave two actually bottomed here and not here. So what we're presented with changes a little bit. And so now I'm going to take this back out. First on the 30-minute chart so we can take a look. I want to take a look at where we are. And so what I've now done is, as the 4 is in place, and this was from last week. So coming off of Friday we talked about, and it was a rally and it brought the market back down. And then in Sunday's Globex, we hit an initial low early, and then basically just kind of rallied, then picked up that rally again today. But when I take a look at this on the candle chart, and you'll notice that there was this bar, this crazy bar that had that huge tail, all the way down to 45.28. Now, when I go back over to the line chart, it's not there. It's like it was a mirage. Now, this is the more of the true chart. Now, as a trader, you want to see the tails. The tails can produce profit or snap it away. Because the fact that it did form this tail tells you that's how quickly it went back up. Came down, but how quickly it went back up, because where this bar closed was up here. And so the low, actually, for the wave that we were looking at, was actually here, a good 8 points above where this low for the bar shows. So it becomes more orthodox, I could say, when I switch over and I take a look at the line chart, so that I can kind of put together what actually is taking place. So if I come back here, we are definitely now heading up in what I'm looking at is the minute fifth. We went up and we made a new all-time high on Friday against a very negative backdrop. Today, that kind of negativity was shifted aside, and it went up and made new all-time highs twice today, because it went up here and then backed off, and then finished it by going up again and getting above 45.60, which was that resistance zone that I thought might be a little tough. Initially it was, it kind of hovered around, but it broke. And when it did, it gave a clear signal that this is a 1-2, and we're in a third that is subdividing, a third that may end up subdividing very similarly to this past 3. So we're now in a sub-minute third within the minute fifth wave. So that's the actual Elliott. And expectations are for this market to likely get up into the zones that we have discussed. Here's our first overlap. This overlap puts the B wave into irregular B wave territory. It already is there, but this really confirms us up into that irregular B wave territory. So it sets up some Fibonacci relationships for an expected C wave. More on that when it gets started. But here we have 46.17, and underneath it we have the 50% for where minute 5 would be 50% of the length of minute 3, and that comes in at 46.16. So this area is a high candidate to complete this wave. What comes up after that is also extremely interesting, and the next overlap. So we have a little pause stop here. If we break above all of this, 46.42 would be next up and can complete it, but more likely is the next one up. So we have 46.59, and then we also have 46.60. So we're 59 and 60, and that equals 1.382 on the irregular B scale. I'm told that is the most common and Fibonacci relationship on an irregular B wave. And then we have 70.5, which is considered in some areas a sweet spot, and that would be where minute wave 5 would be 70.5% of minute 3. This is also a high probable chance. So this one carries, I would say 35 to 45%, and then this one carries like 55 to 60%, or even a little bit more, because of the levels and the commonality of the move. So on a larger scale, this is carries the commonality factor. On just an inside move for this fifth, this and this combined carry it equally. So we have a lot of Fibonacci and a lot of support for this rally to continue. And the way that I'm counting it right now is that that's 1 of 5, 2 of 5. We're in 3 of 5, and I don't believe that it's quite done just yet. So let me take this down to the 15 minutes, switch it back over so that, well, let's just see. 1 and a 2. 1, 2, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I think this one is 1 of 3, 2 of 3, maybe 3 of 3, maybe. So it's subdividing, and my guess is just it's going to go. This is where it's at. It's just going to go. So if this is 1 and 2 of 3, and then we're in the 3 of 3 move, and it's just going. It is just, it's there, and it's happening. So I believe that our next resistance, which, where did my other ones disappear? We had some additional sitting out there, didn't we? Somehow they're not. Okay. I can put them back. There they are. Whew, but they disappeared. So it brings all of this directly in line. And it needs to break, but this is our next zone where it could take a pause. So maybe 3 completes there, and then we give it a little 4, and then 5 pushes us up here. And we can do that because here's the agenda. Tomorrow, we have AMD, Microsoft, and Google. And you can see Google's already, just based on Facebook's earnings, has decided to tack on 22 points in the aftermarket. It's bid 22 points up from the close. And Microsoft tomorrow is bid up a little bit from the close, but we'll see. So we have AMD, Microsoft, and Google tomorrow. And then we have Amazon and Apple on Thursday. So we have all of our big players. Amazon's also now moving up. Apple punched, maybe down a little bit. But Amazon, Google, and Microsoft all seem to be benefiting a little bit from Facebook's earnings this afternoon. Facebook, in any case, tomorrow, I would expect that pullbacks are going to be shallow, but as I say that, the volatility is there. So we're getting these tails. And that's what I really kind of was suggesting to just say that we need to pay very close attention to those tails. The tails tell the tale of really the market's intentions. And we had one straight off the opening. It wasn't that great. So it really was more fooling in that, oh, okay, we're going to try to go up. We didn't really do it. And then we just started to head lower. And the market gave, as it broke, come on, the 200 moving averages. And if we go out to the hourly chart, the opening kind of produced a much bigger tail. I'll tell you if this doesn't stop, it drives me crazy when the chart jumps. But see, like that. The market, you can see that tail, and it tells the tail. Look what happens after. It just was evident. The market was telling us if we read the bars correctly. And I'm going to be honest, I can't say that I did, but I did eventually close it out, of course, and then revert, then look what's going on and go with it, and made money back. So it's okay to realize that you're stuck, but it's kind of when you get signs and you might ignore those signs, then you're going to get what you deserve, because the market's telling you we are not going down. At the end of the first hour, you got a signal. And this one, boom, came back. And as soon as it crossed back over, boom, boom, boom. So moral of the story, be on your toes, trade smart, read the price action, follow what the moving averages are telling you. This did put things all on the downward spiral. And as soon as it started to break, look what happens. It just put it all right back. And that does not mean that anybody's analysis is right or wrong. It just means the market's telling you what it's going to do. And then so we get to make a choice whether we're going to go trade it or not trade it. That's what it means. So being able to switch and go up, we're going up, I'm going to buy it, or oh, we're going down, I'm going to sell it. That's the key. Being able to know when to reverse, when to change. And the market should tell us at some point, you may not like it there, but that is like take your loss and get long. Okay, tomorrow, I think we're going to have continued volatility in the market. We're still in the midst, just at the beginning phases. So after the close, AMD, Microsoft, Google, there will be movement, and there should be a lot of movement going into these earnings. A lot of play, a lot of options, a lot of everything will be going around. So it should be a good day. Trade smart, trade according to the moving averages, make sure you're reading the price action, check your footprint charts if you use them, so that you can get a clue of what kind of volume is coming in where. And if traps were set. So, you know, a lot of times traps get set because they push all those cells through and then suddenly there's nobody there and produces a vacuum and the first buy order takes it up $10. So trade smart. Next update, Tuesday the 26th.